Today we are building our kitchen countertop.
We have a massive piece of butcher block that we picked up from the hardware store the other day. And so the first step is going to be cutting it to fit. Then we have two big pieces to basically our kitchen, which is an undermount sink and a set-in induction cooktop. This will be the first time we are ever building a kitchen countertop, ever working with a butcher block, ever doing anything with a sink. So we're trying our best and I hope it turns out well. Okay, so the official dimension of the length is 73.5 inches. So how much overhang do we want?
At least ½ an inch.
Maybe I cut 1.5 and I can always cut another ½ inch off. Let's go cut our butcher block. Oh. All right, so the next step is we need to mark where our appliances will be. So I made templates. I made this actually like 4 vlogs ago because I thought we'd be doing this way earlier. And this is what I made this morning. This is the template for the sink. So these templates match exactly what I need to cut out. So the idea is I'm gonna use these, draw a line, and then go from there. All right, now we have our rough lines for what we're cutting out of the butcher block. I'm gonna take this into the garage and cut out the majority of this wood with a jigsaw. That way I can use the trim router. Whoa. Holy cow, look at this thing. All right, so I have my cut pretty much done. You can see I intentionally left border around the pencil mark. So the idea is now with the template, I'm gonna route it. So let's set that up and clean up the cut. So this router bit basically broke immediately. This is a brand new bit, so I must have just bought like a cheaper bit on Amazon. It is a pretty long one, but I mean, it seemed like it was gonna do the job. So, I mean, this is 1.5 inches. This was basically bought specifically for this. And yeah, I'm not gonna use the bit anymore. If it already broke within 5 seconds of using it, it's not gonna be a good job. So I have another bit, I have a backup plan. It's gonna be another kind of test run. We'll see how it works. And let's see how it all comes together. But basically I'm gonna have to do it twice. So this bit is 1 inch thick, so I'm gonna do it once and then twice, and we'll see how well that works. All right, officially the hole for our induction cooktop is finito. I just spent like an hour sanding it because it was just too snug. It wouldn't quite fit in originally. And then once I got it in, I wanted to give it a little extra room because we are gonna be applying a polyurethane to this. So that's gonna make it thicker. So I don't want it to do all this nice polyurethane work and then it doesn't fit. So that's kind of what happened to the drawers earlier on in the vlog. So trying to prevent that. Now let's take all the lessons I've learned and apply them to the sink. And so there's a couple of things I'm going to do differently. The first is I'm going to drill 2 holes from the outset, and I'm gonna basically use those 2 holes to drill my rectangle or my square, which this is leaving. So that way I'm not doing curves with the jigsaw. So super simple. The second thing that I'll be doing differently is I noticed that when I cut with the grain, I can cut pretty close to the line. I don't have to worry about like wood kind of chipping. But when I cut against the grain, I have to be a little farther away because chipping is a real challenge. So I'm gonna try to do that with the jigsaw. And other than that, I think there's nothing to it but to do it. So you can see, I kind of cut these. I'm gonna have to actually fix that. Well, no, that won't go down that far. So that's good. You can see how much I left with the jigsaw, some areas more than others, but we are following the line that we traced exactly. All right, time to do the biggest router job of my life. Now in our 48 hours window, since we opened this, we have quite a bit of other tasks to do. I have all the cuts made. I made a hole cut for the sink faucets. This thing is 51 pounds, 52 and a half pounds. Shouty thick, as we like to say. All right, with one coat of the poly on, it's definitely quite a bit darker than we were thinking it was going to be, which is why we did the bottom first. So I think I'm gonna head to Lowe's and just try it, get a couple different options and do it on our test pieces to see how we like it, because the bottom can be any color, it doesn't really matter. It's the top that matters. So we'll see. So we ended up just doing one coat last night because even though it's the bottom, I would still have to sand away the outside rim because that is visible. But now coming out here in the morning, it actually looks pretty decent. I kind of like the stain. We're gonna put it in the van, see how it looks, and then kind of probably still run to Lowe's and get some options for testing today. But I honestly kind of like it. What do you think?
So my initial idea was just to essentially put whatever's the most clear coat on it, because I kind of liked the look of the raw plain wood, but it doesn't look that much darker. It is darker, which is the reason we're potentially changing it, but I do like it. It's just more yellow.
How's it gonna match
like,
the green and all the other colors? Let's go see. Let's go put it in the van.
Okay.
It's so cold in Florida. Oh my god. There we go.
We know that it's in backwards. This is the underside.
Yes.
We're well aware. This edge.
This thing is not going over here.
Yeah, we're well aware.
I like how it looks like wood and it looks like butcher block.
I think it does add a good texture to the space.
It adds a lot of texture, which I really like. We decided we wanted to keep it kind of as natural as possible, so we did not get a stain. None of them really popped out to us, but we did get the water-based poly. So this is the polyacrylic, and we're gonna take the piece that I cut out for the induction cooktop because that piece was all messed up, and we're gonna paint both of them there, let it dry, and then go from there.
Yeah, I like that already.
So I feel like you can already tell, like definitely that's a little yellower than that one, but we will have to see.
Once it dries.
Yeah, that one really brings out the darker shades of the wood, which is nice, but we do want our countertop to be light, so we'll see. With our test, it hasn't fully set in. We do like the look of the poly a lot more. It looks just very much more natural, but we phoned a friend. We asked Annie and Gwen, who have renovated 2 houses, 2 boats, and built 2 vans, asked what they thought, and they 100% recommended the oil simply because it will hold up better over time, and we're not looking to have like stains and stuff like that in the wood from using it as a kitchen, because we're going to use this thing all the time. So we're just going to go with the oil based and kind of have like that more richer wood and see how that looks. We have done 3 coats on both sides right now, and it looks fantastic. It really brought out the colors, the natural colors of the wood, and it really just feels nice and even. It's still drying, so we're not doing the 4th coat just yet. While that is drying, I am working on our extra piece of butcher block. So we have this piece, and it's pretty close to our ideal size for the table. So I'm gonna try to do some fanciness to it. And I'm basically gonna try to score out all this inside piece, keep the edges, and see if this will work for our table. I got all the wood out in the middle, except for the corners. Those were a little difficult. But as soon as I finished getting all the wood out, you can see it warped. I'm guessing like the temperature amount in half of the butcher block, the upper half or something is not the same as, or maybe the left half or is different than the right, I don't know. But it might be a failed experiment. I'm gonna try to even it out. It might just be a failed experiment though, which is a bit unfortunate because it took probably 4 hours, I think, 3 or 4 hours. Back to the main task of this video, which is the kitchen counter, and check it out. The polyurethane is set up. Very, 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 very good.
So we are supposed to be putting either 2 or 3 of these on each side of the sink. But what we realized was this is a little close. And it is basically right at the edge. So our plan is to pivot, because we're good at that, and put them on the corners. And then we have 2 on all of the other sides.
All right, 1 curveball already. It says use a 3/8 drill bit, and they don't fit with a 3/8 drill bit. So we tried a 3/8, then I moved to metric. I tried a 10, that didn't work. And we found out that it fits snugly in a 7/16, so we just upgraded into, I think, like an 11 or 12, which is a little bit under 7/16.
What do you think?
I think it looks really good.
For 2 people who have never built
A kitchen? Never worked with butcher block before? Pretty impressed.
Very happy.
Yeah, we're super concerned about the weight. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you know, we'll see.
We'll see.
We're gonna get it weighed at a truck stop at the very end of this build, so we will see.
Stay tuned for that.
We're gonna do that before we put away all the tools, just in case we have to do some major changes.
Yeah, and that'll have full water, full fuel, full refrigerator with groceries, fully, you know,
fully equipped,
lived in, all that kind of stuff. So we get the most realistic weight.
All right, so I think my science experiment trying to even out this butcher block worked. Basically, I left this outside. I let the sun heat up one side, cool grind on the other, try to balance out the weight, or try to balance out the temperature mismatch. And it's pretty flat now. I'm gonna go ahead and seal the top side, see if that helps at all. You can see there's no, you know, maybe a little bit on the edge, but it's flat. It's not a little convex still in the middle. On this side. I think that's gonna be as good as we're gonna get it. I'm gonna go ahead and seal the top side and go from there.
Now for the last part of our countertop video, we are working on our backsplash. We chose these smart tiles, which are self-adhesive wall tiles. They are lightweight, which is the primary reason we chose them. And they are just peel and stick. There's several sheets. We bought 3 packs. We'll see how many we actually use. But we're planning on just sticking them to the back. And right now we're kind of working on the trim for the upper door, sliding door, and then this space here. But for right now, while the plastic wood is kind of filling in that, I'm gonna start from the back and work our way forward.
Oh yeah, it's so satisfying. Nice.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Good job. With that, our dream kitchen countertop is complete.
Almost done. Yeah, the countertop is done. Dream kitchen, almost done. We are getting so close. So we chose a dual induction burner. We have a Breville toaster oven. We have 2 drawers, one for pots and pans, one for miscellaneous utensils. A Nova Cool fridge and freezer. Dedicated freezer. Super excited about that because we were a little spoiled on our boat where we had a large freezer and a large undermount sink because that was very important to me, and to have a removable sink faucet so that way you can clean really easily.
And in the next video, we're gonna be hooking up water to the sink faucet and the gray water out.
Yes.
Soon. Then we have an outlet for our kitchen appliances right here. And I think the stick on the tile looks really good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks really good.
Adds a lot of texture to the space.
Yeah.
So the wood texture, and then a little bit of a modern touch with the
tile. Yeah. I'm liking how it's coming out.
Good job.
Yeah. And with that, thank you so much for watching our video. We'll see you in the next one where we continue building out our dream van.